Hello everyone, this is ARC the Clarinet Master, and today I'll be discussing my commentary on Lindybeige's "Actress is a perfectly good word" rant. As most of us are aware, my first commentary has sparked a lot of controversy, which, although I wasn't trying to, I suspected from the beginning that would happen eventually, due to the political nature of the topic at hand. What I didn't expect, however, was for my video to be universally hated. The video has an infinite ratio of dislikes to likes, a ton of negative comments, and has even gotten commentaries from the Masked Star Maker, Neon Sinister, Doodle Tones, and Ski Hound. In this video, I will just clear up a few things people have been complaining about, since while most of the criticism wasn't unwarranted and my detractors did make excellent points, there were a few misconceptions regarding my views and the points I made, and that's why I'm making this video. One of the biggest complaints on my commentary is how I treated my opinion as though it was an absolute, irrefutable fact. Now, I'm just going to state, I didn't intend for it to come across that way. I simply wanted to express my thoughts on the matter, and I may have sounded like a totalitarian grammar Nazi because, again, I was far too abrasive when expressing my points, since Lindy's points just infuriated me. Now, granted, there was a point in the video where I said, we want to abolish the term actress, but I think that could be chalked up to poor wording. What I meant is that people nowadays are slowly phasing out the term actress, but I mistakenly used the term abolish, implying that we're forcing people not to say actress. And yes, I'm sure there exist people who force it onto others, but I don't want to be one of those people, and I apologize for giving the wrong message. I simply wanted to express another viewpoint to give other people some insight. Nobody has to conform to my way of thinking, but if anyone genuinely agrees with me of their own volition, then they have every right to do so. To be fair though, Lindy himself kinda came across as a totalitarian grammar fascist in his rant as well. Now, I'm not saying that because I disagree with him, since, hey, he's allowed to have his views and opinions. However, near the end he said, calling women actors is an insult, as if that's an undeniable, irrefutable fact. Granted, he was probably saying he personally feels that way, but the way he inflected that statement indicated otherwise. And then he followed it up with a hypothetical scenario with a mother and daughter, where the mother forces the daughter to identify as an actor, thus giving her a message that women can't act well. I'm not saying that particular scenario couldn't possibly happen, but Lindy treated it as though that's the only possible way it will ever play out, as if every girl has the exact same mentality, when in reality there could be other possible scenarios. Like, say if the daughter, assuming she's like 5, doesn't know about the gender distinction yet, and thus she herself would identify as an actor because she hears the term actors used to describe a group of people who act, which happens to consist of men and women, and she hasn't learned that women have their own separate term. Now, say if her parents insist that she call herself actress because that's how female actors are supposed to identify, or if she finds out for herself that that's the proper term. Like I said, every girl thinks differently, so who knows what her reaction would be. Maybe she'll be indifferent, empowered, or maybe she would react the same way the girl in Lindy's hypothesis would to being called an actor. You know, where she gets this message that, you know, there's something genuinely lesser about being an actor. Or, what if she identifies as an actress, but one of her parents or her caregiver tells her she can call herself an actor if she wants to? So, maybe she'll continue calling herself an actress because she's just used to it and she thinks it's the perfectly accurately word to describe her. Or she'll call herself an actor because she just thinks it makes more sense to be more gender neutral. Because it will vary depending on the person. My point is, every experience is different for every person, and while Lindy's hypothesis may apply to some people, it won't apply to everyone. That's what I was trying to get at in my original commentary, but because I made the mistake of going unscripted, which I'll get to later, the message just got lost in the constant rambling. Now, if Lindy wants to continue calling women actresses, that's entirely up to him, but he needs to realize that not everyone thinks the same way as him. Another thing I want to bring up is how he based much of his argument around debunking the myth that there's a connection between actress and prostitute.
I don't believe that your daughter actually had the association in her mind of actress and prostitute until perhaps you put it there by telling her about it.
Now, I'm just going to come out and say it. I've never heard anyone make the connection in my life, nor do I think it's the main reason why the term actress is falling out of use. I get that's what Lindy was saying, that no one makes the connection between actress and prostitute, or would that be prostitutess? I mean, we can't call them prostitutes because that would imply that women aren't good at being prostitutes. But anyway, I've never even heard a feminist make that argument, so I really don't get where he's coming from. He probably just asked a small group of actors, actresses, whatever you want to call them, and just assumed the most common reply he got was the norm for every woman in the world. Yeah, because every woman thinks the same, am I right? Granted, it could just be a UK thing, but at the very least he could have made that more clear. But still, I don't know why he based his entire argument around it, especially since it's probably not even the main reason why actress is falling into disuse. I mean, it's kinda like with Anita Sarkeesian and her Miss Male character video. Now, just so we're clear, I don't support Anita Sarkeesian as a whole. She's a terrible critic, she barely does any research, she makes blanket assumptions just to fit her biased views, and she just doesn't accept criticism, like, at all.
The controller example is hilariously absurd, but it's also part of a larger pattern of behaviors in which some men go to great lengths to manufacture reasons why women don't belong in their subcultures and hobbies.
I have autism!
But there are a few videos of hers that I thought were fairly decent. And this is one of them, the Ms. Male character video. Because again, this trope does sort of imply that men are the default sex and that women exist only in relation to them. But nowhere in that video did Anita say that Ms. Pac-Man or any other gender rehashed character is associated with prostitution. Like, she never said that Ms. Pac-Man is associated with prostitutes. Because no one makes the connection to begin with.
Again, when did they say that?
And it's the same thing with the Ghostbusters reboot, which is basically Ms. Male character the movie. No one says that the female Ghostbusters are associated with prostitutes. Not even the people who hate this film with a burning passion, like I do. But I bet if Lindybeige was to make a video on the Ms. Male character, he'd probably defend it by saying, does anyone genuinely believe that the Ms. Male characters are prostitutes? Imagine you're a mother talking to her daughter and you say, no, you can't watch Ghostbusters, you must insist that you watch Inside Out. Well done, Mum. You just put in that little girl's head a very powerful message that there is something genuinely lesser about being a woman and that women just can't bust ghosts very well. And that little girl probably never made the connection between Ghostbuster and prostitute until you put it there. You sent that little girl a very powerful message that there is something genuinely lesser about female characters. What could that be? Like, no one is saying that.
When did they say that?
That's not the issue we're taking. It's how they're implying that men are the default sex that is the issue. So it honestly feels like he's fighting a straw man, or straw woman, should I say. I'm sure there are people who do associate the term actress with prostitute, but I've never heard anyone make that claim in my life until watching Lindy's videos, so they're probably in the minority, and it's a pretty pointless argument to argue against. And lastly, I'd like to address one big problem with the video. One of his main points is that calling women actors is an insult to women, but in the video description he says it's politically correct. So which one is it? I mean, isn't he the one trying to be politically correct because he respects women and he doesn't want to offend them? And also, the fact that he thinks that the word woman might be offensive, personally I think that is a huge insult to women because it's basically implying that the mere existence of women is basically meaningless. Like, I know that Lindy himself doesn't believe this and he's actually describing the opposition, but who the hell is saying that woman is offensive? Again, it just seems like he's fighting this straw woman, and a completely unnecessary one at that. Oh, and before any of you bring up those special snowflakes on Tumblr, who cares what they think? We all agree they're a bunch of crazy hacks. So why do they matter? Anyway, moving on. Another common complaint I've received is that I know nothing about languages, and that I'd probably lose my shit if I discovered that the masculine is treated as the standard gender in most European languages. This right here is a blanket assumption, and an incorrect one at that. Since I've actually taught myself about linguistics since I was in high school, and I've taught myself a bit of Spanish and German, and I'm well aware of how gender works in other languages. The thing is, however, I was only speaking within the realms of the English language, which has largely displaced the gender system. Do we really have to apply the rules of other languages to English? I was actually prepared to bring this up in my commentary, since I've noticed some people talking about it in the comments of Lindy's video, but since Lindy himself never brought it up, I thought it would be unnecessary, but boy did it spark a lot of confusion. And besides, if we were to apply grammatical gender to English, why not apply other features from other languages, such as the case system, all the various conjugations used for verbs, free word order, postpositions, tones, absolute direction, etc. Because again, that's not how English works. Languages should simply evolve naturally, depending on what the people genuinely prefer. For example, English used to have a case system, which is a grammatical feature in several languages like German, Latin, the Slavic languages, etc., where a noun phrase changes depending on its function in a sentence. It used to be a part of English, but it phased out over time, probably because it's easier not to inflect the nouns like that. And there was also the great vowel shift, where most of the vowels in English changed their pronunciation over time, and that's why they're all pronounced differently, especially the long vowels from other languages. Now, this is not an excuse to force change onto English, but at the same time, we shouldn't force a language not to change. You know, it goes both ways. You know, nobody should force people not to say actress, true, but at the same time, we shouldn't force people to say it either. And that brings me to my next point, actrem. This is a word I coined to refer to male actors so that people could still say actress and not single out women. Unfortunately, it caused major backlash since apparently I was trying to force change onto others. Again, I apologize if I gave off that vibe since I was merely making a suggestion, and I only want people to use this term if they genuinely agree with it of their own volition. So why did I coin this term, you may ask? Well, when people asked Lindybeige on his Facebook why there should be a gender distinction, the response he gave was, but the person's sex is relevant to the job since only men and only women can play certain parts. And you know what? That's actually a decent point. Much better than that prostitute argument he used in the video. And Doodletones also brought it up in her commentary.
I mean, yeah, drag is a thing, but imagine a guy playing a role in a movie that only a woman can do. That's what I thought. It's better to get an actress to do roles written for actresses. Go figure!
So, naturally, that left me wondering, why isn't there a masculine term then? And thus I coined the term actrem. Mostly to prove a point about actress, but if the sex of the person is relevant to the job in question, then there might as well be terms for both sexes, right? But what's so strange about this is that when I coined the term actrem, that apparently made me an SJW. Yet when I make a similar argument in relation to that Ghostbusters reboot, saying there should be more female-centric franchises rebooted with male leads, I get labelled among the lines of an MRA, mansplainer, etc., since there's already tons of films with male protagonists, they say. I'm actually saving this particular topic for a future commentary, and I will explain in further detail there. But shouldn't I also be labelled as an MRA for coining the term actrem, since there's already tons of terms used for men? Now, Doodle also brought up how there exist terms like male stripper and male nurse.
I mean, not to go all red pill MGTOW on you, but women actually get their own words. Men don't. Men get male insert women dominated profession here. Also, what's your thoughts on tailor and seamstress? Or what about stripper and male stripper?
I understand where she's coming from, but personally, I think it is more or less linked to how the masculine is prioritized in languages. I'm not saying we should try to force people to change these languages to make them gender neutral. I'm just saying these languages are like that. and we'll just have to make do with what we've got. But anyway, since the masculine is treated as the standard gender, it's usually possible to form feminine and neuter terms from a masculine word, but rarely vice versa. You could make the argument it's possible in, say, Spanish to make a feminine word masculine, like if you just replace the final A with an O, for example, señorito, to address a young boy or unmarried man, but these are usually colloquial at best, and not part of the formal language. In German, on the other hand, it's practically impossible as far as I know. Masculine words can be made feminine by adding the suffix in, which is essentially their version of s, while masculine or feminine words can be made neuter, meaning neither, by adding the suffixes chen or lein, depending on the word. However, the reverse in either case is ungrammatical. I could go on about how the gender and case system works in the Slavic family, like Polish for instance, since it does get a bit interesting there, but I don't want to derail too much from the main topic. So, because there isn't a masculine term for, say, nurse or stripper, and instead you tack the word male before it, you're still technically referring to them as a nurse or a stripper, so the connotations aren't really the same. You can debate all you want as to which sex has it worse here, but personally, I think it's unfair to both sexes. Doodle also brought up tailor and seamstress, and I'll be perfectly honest here, I always thought tailor was gender neutral and that seamstress was more archaic. But hey, live and learn, I guess. And also, there's another thing that confuses me about terms like male stripper and male prostitute. It's like, are they referred to as male strippers and male prostitutes every single time they're mentioned? I mean, I can understand calling him a male stripper when initially bringing him up in the conversation because most strippers are women and you expect him to be female by default. But once you know the sex of the stripper, it does get a bit redundant to keep referring to him as male stripper over and over in the same conversation. In fact, I think there was a Simpsons episode that poked fun at this. It was in the episode where Marge regains her interest in painting, and while she's painting Mr. Burns, he's posing there and he says, "Hey, male modeling." I mean, we know he's male, so why can't he just say he's modeling? And I think that may have been the joke, I'm not too sure. But yeah, this is why I don't see, male profession as a true male counterpart to the S suffix. Because with male strippers, you could say, "Oh, I've heard this male stripper called Jacob, and he's one of the best strippers in town." But with actress, you can't really do that. You can't say, "Yeah, my favorite actress is Amy Poehler, and, she's probably the best actor I've ever seen." It just sounds really inconsistent, And that's why I coined the M suffix, so that it would be a true counterpart to S. And I do find it funny how Doodle even pointed out this double standard. Women at least get their own terms, while men just have male put before the profession. And yet when I propose a solution to the double standard, suddenly everyone's all up in arms about it. Yes, I know, we shouldn't force languages to change and all that stuff, but come on, at least pick one side or the other. Now, personally, I'm not going to use the term actrem from now on, or any other words with that suffix, unless I'm just doing it as a joke, since I've already started a huge shitstorm and made a fool of myself by doing so. But if anyone watching this thinks it's a perfectly applicable term, you have every right to adopt it into your vocabulary. I'm not forcing anyone to use or not use the term, and I'm leaving it at that.